So about a year ago, I was involved in a little accident. Myself, my husband, my best friend, and her husband. We had to jump out of a burning Airbnb and the windows was the only way out. My room was a little bit high up, so I landed badly and, well, I couldn't walk. I was on crutches. A few bruises here and there, but thankfully, my dad recommended me to this lovely physiotherapist whom you are looking at right now. Her name is Tanaka, and we're going to get to step into her world today as she does her part to build a beautiful country in Zimbabwe within a profession that she absolutely loves and she is so passionate about. And I cannot wait for us to dive into this. Well, join me. Let's go. But I know who you are, so for the sake of the people that will be listening to this conversation, please kindly introduce yourself and what you do.
Okay, so my name is Tanaka Yamala, and I'm a physiotherapist.
Lovely. You went to uni for this particular course?
Yes. So I graduated in 2024.
Okay.
And since then, I've been working and the supervision, the stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. That's a long time ago, actually. Okay.
Physiotherapy is a regulated healthcare profession, and here in Zimbabwe we have MRPCZ. Yeah. So if you are a physio in Zimbabwe, you have to be registered with MRPCZ.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
That's number one. So you can't say I'm a physio when MRPCZ doesn't know about you.
Okay.
Yeah. And also for training, you can only be trained at University of Zimbabwe currently.
Okay.
I'm not sure what other universities are planning, but as of now, it's only UZ that's training physiotherapy.
What was the journey like for you to get into physiotherapy? Is it something you always wanted to do, or do you feel like it was a calling? Did you get a dream? Did a prophet touch your shoulders and say, "This is what you're going to become," or how did you end up in this field?
This part I really love talking about this part because I didn't know what physio was, and from the schools that I in, I was like, no one really tells us what's out there, what's after A level, and what you're going to see out there. Well, for someone who's doing my sciences, definitely people are going to come and tell you you're going to do medicine, and this is what we know. Kanochita my science is MBC. You are going to do medicine in college. So I was so looking forward to enroll into the medical field, medical student. It was something I was really looking forward to.
Yeah.
But then I wrote my exams in Mapoinza and Avonita. You get it? So I was like, okay. I was frustrated.
Yeah.
And then when I'm going to research cut-off points list.
Okay.
And then I see my programs, I'm like, okay. So I did 4 subjects actually. But then for that,
Say that again.
4 subjects at A level. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And it's not like you've made an Almighty. I just wanted to prove someone something. And you know what? I'm going for 4 subjects.
Right.
Anyways, so now Pakunobuda Manji, I'd sort of like an attitude in one of my science subjects, and I had 2 points for that subject, but it was very important because I really needed that to enroll into the medical school.
I see.
So at the end of the day, for my subjects I want to consider, I only have 12 points.
Right. And you needed how many points?
I needed at least 14 points to get into medical school.
Okay.
Yeah. But then, people are actually happy. Yo, I had 17 points. 17 points, but for my program, I only have 12 points.
Right, I see.
So I enrolled in physiotherapy because do again my points I enrolled my points down. 4 points physiotherapy. I don't even know what that is. So I started school and I fell in love with the profession. Like I literally fell in love with the profession. I'm like, I was born for this. This is what I love. And right now, ask me to change going down my professions. No, I want.
You wouldn't do it.
I love this.
I
was born for this. I'm actually glad I had 12 points because if it wasn't for that,
you would have been doing medicine.
Exactly.
And there's a difference between medicine and physiotherapy. It's like two different fields altogether.
Yeah, totally different. So, colleagues, people around, they like to call us doctors. So like, Dr. Chiremba and all the stuff. No, I'm like, I am not a doctor. I'm not a medical doctor. I am a physiotherapist. Right. Those are two totally different things. I don't prescribe drugs. I don't, do all the other stuff that Chirimbas do, cutting and all the stuff. No, I am not a doctor. I am a physiotherapist. And if you want to refer to me, I'm Tanaka. Right. You call me Physio Tanaka if you want that. But definitely not Dr. Tanaka.
Interesting. Because I think most of us, as soon as we see you within the medical field, whether it's physiotherapy and what is it called? The stuff that makes people sleep.
Anesthesia.
That. Like we just
part of the medical team.
Right?
Yeah. I think you refer to them as doctors, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. They're also doctors. Yeah.
Because a lot of us just want to refer to them as doctors immediately.
Exactly.
So it's quite interesting that even in the same field, there is like differentiations of how it is. So as a physiotherapist, we address you as Tanaka.
Yeah, I'm Tanaka. Okay. Even if I grow, maybe if I become 30, 40, you will still refer to me as Tanaka.
I see.
Not Miss, not just Tanaka.
Just Tanaka.
Tanaka is okay.
You hear that?
Unless I maybe advance my education, then don't know, shake up my PhD, then you get to call me doctor. But then that's a title, not this medical doctor. I'm still not a medical doctor. I become a doctor in physiotherapy.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I decide to advance in that particular field. No,
then it becomes that. Right.
We also do diagnosis. And the patient comes in, we assess and we try to diagnose. And if we realize this is not a physio thing, we get to refer.
I see.
Yes. Okay. So there's a lot of clinical reasoning happening in our field. And I realize with other professions, they actually think we don't. Like when someone says, go and do physio for 5 days.
Right.
That's actually a prescription being written, go and do physio for 5 days.
I see.
Because someone is probably thinking, I get to tell them what to do. But we use our clinical reasoning, we assess and we diagnose and we proceed accordingly.
And you have a medical background as well, right?
Yeah.
Not as intense as not on the same path as what medicine will do, but at some point you guys have a basic.
Yeah, so for our first year, which is our pre-clinical year, we do anatomy, physiology, which is more like familiarize with, we are just familiarizing with the human body and all that stuff.
Okay.
And we are building towards that. So for physio, we only have 1 year. But those medical students, I think they have 2 years for anatomy and physiology. Right. So yeah, it's different, but we also know our anatomy very well. We also know our physiology very well.
Okay.
And we understand the human body. Maybe they think not as much as they do, but
you have good knowledge.
Do. Yes, exactly.
And that's something important for people to know. And in this field, because we're doing, you're a physiotherapist in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of females that are also, like, how there's different types of titles within the medical field, not touching all those other ones, but just within physiotherapy? Do you feel like there's a lot of representation of Zimbabwean women, like here?
Yeah. So for our field, luckily the representation is very good. We've got a lot of women in this field. I remember when I was in school, we were a class of 30, 31, I don't really remember. But the guys that were in it's like we had less than 10 guys.
Really?
For our class. And almost every time, I'm not sure about the numbers in first year, but I know about the numbers in second year. More than half the class are females.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
and
good
even the
to know.
women in practice, we've got many women in practice.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
So we are well represented in this.
I love that. This is what I'm looking for, because I'm trying to tap into different spaces and just making sure women are represented well enough and other women can see people like you doing what you're doing, and maybe somebody else is inspired and they want to join the field.
Yeah.
So there's no way we cannot go. And also, how does somebody know, outside of, let's just say that this is somebody who's just sitting at home and they've not gone to see maybe their GP or not come to a physiotherapist straight away. how is somebody supposed to know that, okay, I think I need to find a physiotherapist? Is it something that, is there signs or things that they can look into outside of the obvious? Maybe there's been an accident or something like that.
Okay, so for physio, in other countries, it's actually part of the primary health care. Whereby you just walk into a maybe clinic setup and you just meet a physio, they get to diagnose. If they need to refer, they will refer you. Okay. So for those people that feel like they need to go, the question was, when do I tell I now need a physiotherapist? Yeah. So it can be acute, it can be chronic. Okay. So pain for more than 24 hours, 48 hours, I think you have a reasonable, you might actually visit a physio just to see what's going on. If it is not a physio problem, they can always refer. So I'm not saying a physio should be the first point of contact for your healthcare system, no, but I'm saying it can be. And then you will be able to. For instance, someone who had poor lifting techniques, they might actually come. Maybe if I need an x-ray, I'll then refer them to radio, and then they get an x-ray so that we get a better understanding of what's happening. That's post-assessment, of course. I see. Because we don't just refer to go for x-ray without assessing. Sometimes they don't need that, but then if I feel good, they really need post that assessment, and then I realize, no, this person might actually need a radio, then I get to refer. But I feel like pain post 24 hours, 48 hours, you might want to see a physio.
Okay, so take me through you as a person. Because I believe, Kuti, everyone can relate to anyone's story, right? You can listen to somebody just telling you where the background that they're coming from. Of course, you can decide what you want to share and what you don't want to share. But leading up to this point, what was life like for you? To the point where you are who you are now, or who you are still like improving and bettering yourself to be, even as time goes?
Okay, so for me, it wasn't all roses growing up. Primary school, I went to Warren Park 1 primary school. It's a day school. We'd just walk. It was something like 200 meters away from where I stayed. Okay. So we'd just walk to school. No, not 200, I think around 400 meters away. That's quite good. So we'd walk to school, and trust me, it wasn't as nice. Was the school fees. Motanga mchidzingo makawanda nditi. And then also pakuti autonoti mosimka muri tube class, and then you know how that does, how it affects you, even your self-esteem, you know, that stuff. Yeah, so that was my primary school. But then I was actually one of the best students. I knew kuti top 5 in English since grade 3. Since grade 3. In top 5 leg and did more. So yeah, I was actually, but I remember this at the time. It was a prize giving day. That's not over the fees. Really? And I was actually number 1. Oh. Not in my class. Yeah. Oh, of course I was number 1 in my class, but I was also number 1 like overall.
The whole grade.
Yeah, but they did not call out my name because they were like, I got number 1 and now but the fees, so we are not liberty to say out their names.
They didn't say your name.
Didn't.
That is so mean.
That was so mean. And I remember this other person, you know, my mom always talks about it. She knew I was number 1 and she laughed. So my mom was like, she always referred to that particular incident, like, takambosekwa, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah, but then, yeah, I grade 7 young, I passed, and then I went to O-level. Change my schools a bit, but I ended up Kamuzuma High 2, my O-level. And I think I did fought, because somehow I just wanted something good for myself. Yeah. Remember, the background whereby people actually laugh at you when you don't get your prize for simply because you did not pay up your fares. You get it? So I tried my best, and like enough, ndakawana zvandaidiseva. Yeah. So yeah, I passed my O-level, and then I went to A-level at Ziwarasikwa High 1. Okay. We had good teachers. By then, that was in 2010. We had good teachers, and I remember this one guy. You remember when I told you that I wanted to prove something? Someone could
when you did the 4 subjects.
Yes. So there's this guy. I just asked him, what do you think about statistics? Then the girl was like, no. You are not good enough for this. Please just don't do it. Focus on your 3.
Wow.
Your 3 subjects. I'm like, okay. So you're literally asking me to go for the 4th one. And I did. It's stupid. Now that I think about it, it's actually stupid.
But then, like you said, if you hadn't done that, and then maybe it was what was supposed to happen for you to get those 12 points for you to then end up
exactly. So
I guess it works itself out.
I did, and I am.
Okay. So that's when you said you then looked at the sheet with the cutoff points.
Yeah. So it's actually funny. I did not apply to any other university that is not University of Zimbabwe.
Really?
I only applied for my physio and other, they ask you to apply for three programs.
Okay.
And the first one for me was physiotherapy. I don't remember the second and the third. But I never applied to any other university that is not University of Zimbabwe. I don't know Ndaitembe, but I was like, you know what?
I guess you knew what you were doing.
University of Zimbabwe
is where I'm going.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. And Ipapo, I actually got a place, and that's how.
Wow. Is there any other universities that do physiotherapy though in Zimbabwe?
In Zimbabwe, it's just University
of Zimbabwe. Just use it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's quite interesting. But prior to you choosing what you chose, did your schools have like career days or people who would come and advise or just like help out with the process of your applications?
That's the unfortunate part. Where we learned, schools they are not as you know what I'm talking about. Saka akuna that maybe it's now there, but in Bandagadzidza we did not have that privilege. We find people who know how to do career guidance and all that stuff. And I remember teacher Vedu Sampaio, he really wanted us to know what's coming for us. So he invited this doc. He was still a student back then, and he came and he talked to us. And at the end of the day, I still think medicine is that's the goal. When we say through Kangwachama Sciences, that's where we want to go.
And it also looks good for most people. It's not about the passion, but it's also about I want to show people that I can do medicine because it looks fly.
So this guy comes, he's describing medicine to us. Guys, this is actually a very good program. And everything he said was good. Yeah. Unfortunately, we needed more than just medicine. Right. Like we needed to know that there is hope even if you don't get into medicine.
Okay.
We needed to know that there are fields that are actually quite fascinating and that are not medicine.
I'm with you.
And then I remember he also invited these other girls. They were into nursing science at UZ as well. Bakawia, they talked to us. It was nice, but then now I only know there is either pharmacy, medicine, or nursing science. The rest I don't know. But some other students, they are fortunate, especially when I'm kids in schools. They are fortunate enough that they get to have those career guidance and they're well informed. I remember at some point I talked to this colleague of mine. Well, she was my friend in college. She told me that I knew I wanted to do physio from the word go. Like, Kutwenda A level, I was actually aiming to get into physio because of some career guidance that they had. Yeah. So even for Manguma career guidance at Kuitwa, it's unfortunate not everyone talks about this kind of fields. Like, I feel like people don't really know what physio is and they don't talk about it enough. And so the upcoming students, they actually don't know this. To an extent that I've actually told myself I'm going to try and find an opportunity to go to my schools and actually talk about this profession. Well, unfortunately, I'll be biased towards my profession.
But that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Somebody else came and spoke to you about their profession.
Exactly.
So what stops you? Absolutely. I would love to partner with you on that actually, because it's something that I'm really passionate about under the hashtag of Catch Them Young, because I feel like I sort of had that guidance because of where I was for A-levels and stuff. I was not in Zimbabwe, but still I had that. And I could see how helpful it was. And I'll tell you that one of the reasons I didn't pick certain subjects like law and what, I would go to their stations, I'll see their books and the amount of things that are involved in it. And I just knew straight away it just wasn't for me. So it kind of helped to guide my path. So you doing something like that could actually help quite a lot of people more than you realize.
Yeah.
And I'd love to get a lot more women onto this program. And I think it's something that we could totally do just to help out the next generation and the next. And for all you know, it might not be the next generation. It might even be your generation. Somebody's been waiting and sitting on something that they've been contemplating on. So, wow, that's quite a story, hey? And it also goes against the stigma of people thinking, Kuti, if you come from certain schools, that's when you can apply for certain courses and be a certain thing.
Exactly. You know, where I learned, sometimes you'd actually go out and you meet, rigore. You meet those rigore, those cows, and you actually run away from them.
Those things. They traumatized us as children.
I didn't know they existed. I knew it at A level. I'm saying, okay, so these guys really exist.
Yeah.
Because they are holding those, big sticks and they will beat you if you don't run away.
I know, that was the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But imagine coming from that and then you realize, no, there's more to that. There's there's a lot that you need to experience in life, even if you're coming from such a background like that.
And you're a great example of that. I'm always inspired by stories like this because I like I said, your story is relatable to somebody. Like there is nobody who cannot push for something if they really want to do it.
Exactly. I remember going to school, Maria's year transport, because I would commute from Warren Park to DZ. My mom waitengesa, she was a vendor. Waitengesa just so she could get that money. A number of because I didn't have pass rate.
Really?
Never. My mom waiting as a plastic.
Talk to your mom. Would she allow me? Please. I would love to sit down and have a chat with her and just hear things from her perspective as well.
Trust me, she would tell you a lot.
Oh.
She would tell you a lot because she had quite a life.
And what a trooper she is.
Yeah, raising us was not as easy for her.
I love that. How many siblings do you have?
I have 3 siblings.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Kudos to you, mommy. So there's a lot of myths that surrounded within your field. I can tell you one already. Okay. People sometimes view physiotherapists as personal trainers because they kind of think it's sort of the same thing for one reason or the next, which makes sense. But are there certain myths and misconceptions that you think are within physiotherapy that you would like to address or correct just for the viewers so that they know that, physiotherapy is beyond what they probably see it as?
Yeah, so that point you just mentioned, I remember at some point, the guy in drive, then the guy asked, what do you do? Like I was coming from Paddy. What do you do? I said, I'm a physiotherapist. And then he was like, do you remember exercise? It only makes sense.
Because that's what we see on TV. Because you see them after an accident or something, so they end up with physio, and it's usually within a gym setting, right? Which we're going to get a moment to show people and stuff. But it's like, that's what we associate you guys with.
Exactly. But it's more than that. So physio is actually more than that. I think almost all fields in medicine, we also have them in physiotherapy. We have cardiothoracic, whereby we actually work in ICU settings, and it's more like someone is not able to clear their own secretions, and we need to open that airway and clear whatever is in that airway. So yeah, it's actually part of physio. Cardiothoracic, we also work on cardiac fitness, when exercise. Yeah, that part. Yeah, it actually makes sense. And then we work in geriatrics, we have oncology, we have almost all fields in medicine. We have them in physio.
That's quite interesting. And you said you don't prescribe drugs?
No, we don't.
So you guys just have the magic of knowing how the body moves or should move and getting it from where it is to take it back to where it should.
It's one of our courses. It's actually a module in physiotherapy. We learn pharmacology. Why? It's essential for us because imagine you want to do some maybe exercises with someone who's on maybe blood thinners, and maybe let me not mention something. Like it's like you get to know what to and what not to do based on the drugs that a patient is actually taking. So we need that knowledge to know kuti mapills are kutora anoita nezvei, and kana akazoita, for instance, someone tells you kuti they cannot exercise because they are feeling maybe nausea or something, we get to know that it's because of these pills or something like that. And of course it's actually important because we get to know the do's and don'ts.
Yeah. Okay.
So we know what those pills are for, but we don't prescribe them.
I see what you mean.
That's not ours.
And you guys just work with just the physical body and take me for an example. I was barely walking, to be honest. And I was on crutches, and it took certain like things that we were doing and exercises and strengthening and stuff like that, and now I don't even know where my crutches are. I ditched them somewhere. In fact, they're my best friends. I need to take them back. Sorry, I'm bringing them back. But yeah, like it's just, you guys are just I say this all the time, but anyone in the medical field, for me, you guys, like right after Jesus, you are like the most important people, because the things that you make happen, I've seen it for myself, and I've experienced like what it is to go from point, and the frustrations that also come with it. Like, I don't know like how you guys do it, watching people go through the most and just like watching it. It must be very satisfying though for you to watch from.
It is. Like, this field is quite satisfying. This is why I said when I got into this field, I was like, no, this is where I belong. Because the job satisfaction that you get from this. Imagine someone comes in, maybe they're being wheeled by someone. They're sitting in a wheelchair and they've been in that wheelchair maybe for a week or maybe for a month. And then you work on them 2-3 sessions down the line, they're actually pushing their own wheelchair.
Wow.
Like,
see, it's a miracle.
It is. It's fascinating.
It's a miracle and science, of course, because you know exactly how to
like
take them from one point to the next. But it's truly beneficial. And like, on an overview, how do you feel like you are contributing to this beautiful country of ours as a woman who's working as a physiotherapist? How important, or rather, do you know how important you are to our country and to the people that you assist, the role that you play within your profession and beyond?
Okay, so, well, I always like to think of it in terms of quality of life, because when we talk about rehabilitation, at the end of the day, it's about your quality of life.
Right.
So imagine someone who hasn't been maybe sleeping for days, someone who had stopped maybe walking. It's like their quality of life has been affected greatly by whatever condition that they are in. And you're able to change that and improve their quality of life. I feel like that's a big thing for me.
It is.
Yeah, it is. That's why I said this job is very satisfying. Maybe it's a mom that now she wasn't able to work for her kids. So I had a particular case whereby someone seconded to poor lifting techniques. They did something to their back, and the guy was not like self-employed, and gets a motor, and now he's not able to walk. He's not able to wash motor, but this guy has a family. He has got 2 kids and a wife, I think. So, you know, it's like simply because the breadwinner is no longer able to do what they used to do. And I think I saw him for a few sessions and he started walking. And now if you see the guy, like motor is the same thing. It's like exactly ipapo, and that's quite satisfying. Yeah. And
that's purpose. That is purpose, because like you're making this world, this beautiful country, a better place, one body at a time. Literally, like
maybe I don't have that impact, Teguti. It's for the whole community. I do it for the whole community. No, I don't have it. It's one body at a time for me. Yeah.
And that's amazing. Like I don't know if people thank you enough, but on behalf of those that have and those that probably haven't, I just want to give you your flowers and say thank you. It's not a small thing. No, honestly, like especially with the field that you're in, it must take passion and determination to see somebody get better, because you deal with lives, right? Essentially, it's not a product. It's not like a bottle of juice. I'm not going to say any names because maybe they might come for me, but maybe it's not like a bottle of juice that, you know, it's just being consumed or something. It's like you're dealing with people's lives, one body at a time, like we said, and you are passionate as well about just seeing people being better. I'm sitting here having experienced it myself, so I feel like my thank you is very, very much in the right place, because you practically changed my life. Where I was and where I am now is something I didn't even imagine. In fact, I thought I was never going to walk again, but I'm here, and I don't know if you get enough of your flowers, and especially for a field that you were saying, Kuti, a lot of people probably don't even know about it to that extent. And to that effect, I think that you are doing an amazing job. And you're going to continue to do so. There's so much more that you're yet to do, and I know that.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
Like, we're just scratching the surface
this is
here.
Not the destination.
No. And I've listened to some of the things that you've said during our sessions and stuff, but I can't wait to see where life is going to take you, like, really and truly. But lastly, I would just love for you to speak to a young girl, a young lady, a grown woman who's probably sitting on the same purpose and the same passion like you are. If there's something you would like to say to them to encourage them, to probably give them that little extra push that maybe they never had. You know, some people like yourself had a supportive mom who was there throughout the whole journey, and somebody who actually believed in whatever you decided to do, but some don't have that. So what could you tell that person who's listening to you right now?
This is what I always say. It's possible. If you want it to be, it is possible. So at some point, you know, students have got this tendency to tinotamba. You know, at that age, you don't. I was talking as funga. I was talking as say, unotamba, say, and you're not really focusing on your education. This is what I did. I actually experienced that. So that was A level actually. So I don't know what really happened, but you know, adolescence, blah blah blah, all the stuff. So I started, you know, naitamba a lot, yeah. And I started getting serious. Okay, so for me to better describe this, it's like, and the number nakamboina kumba ni more than 6 points ever since I started A level.
Right.
So I knew I would have 3 points the biology almost every time. And then I would have 2 points for chemistry. And most of the times in pure maths, I would have 0. I never disappointed on that one. And statistics, yeah, because now I'm trying to prove this guy wrong, so I couldn't take statistics Pachkoro. I had to find elsewhere for which are statistics, and then I only registered Pachkoro, so I was not writing exams for statistics.
Right, okay.
And I remember the second from last semester, Form 6, I had 1 point in pure maths to make it 6 points, and I was the happiest person on earth.
Little wings.
I was. So someone out there is telling themselves, it's late, it's too late. I can't, because now that 12 Form 6, I cannot do this. Think about someone like me. I actually made it possible in 3 months, I think, the last semester. That's when I started really working hard, and I had 17 points.
Wow.
From
6?
Yeah, from 6
to 17.
17. Yeah.
It's possible.
5 points in pure maths. Remember, I'd never, like, the only point I had it second from last semester. But my final exam, I had 5 points in pure mathematics.
Wow.
I had 5 points in biology. I had 5 points in, so it was bio, pure maths, and statistics.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's possible. If you want it to be, it is possible. And then there's a mom out there who's thinking, no, I cannot do this for my kid because I'm poor, I'm what? My mom was poor. She worked hard. Why she tried like, I still feel like it's not fair for someone to say it's possible. If you want it to be, it is possible.
Very much.
And some people think it's for guys, like wakumana ndo wanokwanisa kupasa a load sterek. No, it is possible. I am a woman.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm evidence that this is possible.
Yeah, you're a testament for it, which is why I asked you, is there enough representation of women? And I was so happy when you said yes. Because like you said, you're a woman, you're thriving at it, you're doing it.
Exactly.
So much more that you're going to be doing, and I look forward to seeing it. And I think that, and I hope that whoever is watching, who's probably been looking for that push, is going to be inspired to push as much as you have, despite the circumstances.
Yeah.
You've pushed through it, like through and through. And I'm so proud to hear that, like, honestly. And I look forward to working together to possibly then go into schools and do the programs that you were talking about. Because it's important. It's very important.
People need to know there's more than just one program out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because a kid will be very devastated to know that I wanted to enroll in pharmacy, but then now I don't qualify for pharmacy. But then imagine if someone can come and tell them, no, it's not just pharmacy. there's also these other programs. So already that person has many options. They're like, oh, okay, if I don't get into pharmacy, I can get into this, I can get into this. Or maybe they wanted to go into pharmacy because maybe their aunt is in pharmacy. So that's the only person, that's the role model. But then they don't even know Guti. There are other actually fields that are more satisfying than whatever they thought was the you know what I'm trying to say.
I hear you.
So yeah, I feel like it's very necessary. Kids need to know.
Yeah, absolutely. Catch them young. That's
Exactly.
what I say. But anyways, thank you so much for your time. This is not the end. I might come knocking on your door again because I might have something niggling and I want to have a conversation with you. So I hope you can receive me with open arms.
Always.
Of course. But yes, this is Physio Tanaka, or as you said, I should call you Tanaka.
Yeah.
And She Builds Zimbabwe. Thank you.